worship and work. Church and state, profit motive. In God we trust. Worship and work. Church and state, profit motive. In God we trust. We're talking about Job 25:6 today. Don't play on my job. Job 25:6. Don't play on my job. One thing it talks about is that everyone is just a common person. Everyone is a maggot. Everyone is a germ. Worship and work, church and state, profit motive. In God we trust. We had a separation of church and state here in America. Separation of church and state. There's a church and there's a state. They both run our lives. They both lead our lives. We're going to get more into leadership. We've got a video coming out called Reconciliation of Your Cognitive Dissonance. The cognitive dissonance of your reconciliation. What we want you to do now is be preparing yourself to get out of COVID-19. I do not care what our so-called leaders say. It's time for us to get out of COVID-19. No matter what variant, it is time that we close COVID-19. Forming a coalition to close COVID. The CCC, the COVID Closing Coalition. CCC, the COVID Coalition to close it. In 25:6, it says that someone is a germ or a maggot. A maggot, they are despicable. You are despicable. Don't play on my job. We're having some different mental health issues as it relates to work, all right? So we're about to get out of this. Worship and work, church and state, profit motive. In God we trust. We're getting up high in debt in this country. It is time that we have leaders that know how to invest our tax dollars. We have $1 trillion infrastructure bill that is passed. That $1 trillion should make another $1 trillion. If not, it should give us $1 trillion worth of asset improvement or $1 trillion or more worth of improvement. Worship and work, church and state, profit motive. In God we trust. It's time for us to get out of COVID-19. The Quran says in the book Forgiven, the Surah 40, Ayat 67, it talks about being a germ. You are created from dust, then out of a germ. What is a germ? The CDC says that germs don't move themselves. Germs need people to move. Germs need people to move. Germs do not move themselves. We're going by the CDC's definition, and it says that there's a source. So he just said, germs need people. So there is a source, the CDC says. That's the Center for Disease Control in the United States. It says that you need a source. It says that you need a transmission. It says that you need a susceptible person. Now we're going to look at the definition of a germ. That's what the CDC says, how germs are spread. Now, of course, they don't move themselves, they need a person. It's a source, a transmission, and a susceptible person. A germ, this is the kid's definition of germ. A source from which something develops. The germ of an idea. The source from which something develops. The germ of an idea. Once again, worship and work, church and state, profit motive, in God we trust. 2, germ is a microorganism, bacterium, that causes dis-ease. You know, we like to be at ease, and dis-ease is not being at ease. The next kid's definition of germ is it is a living matter, a cell, capable of forming a new individual or one of its parts. So it is a living matter capable of forming a new individual or one of its parts. The definition of a germ. So once again, the CDC says germs don't move themselves. Germs need people. So we're in COVID-19 for 20 months, 2 years. There has to be a source. There has to be a transmission. There has to be susceptible people. Herd immunity. We're going to end in susceptible people. We need you to be resilient. 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 So once again, we need you to join the CCC. We are ending the pandemic, the coalition to close COVID. We're going to end the pandemic. We're going to end the COVID-19. We got successful vaccination numbers, and then we're going to do some social building exercises. Social building exercises. Join, work together in the CCC to close COVID coalition. Next, we're going to make America crime-free. Next, we're going to make America crime-free. Crime-free cities. And it starts with judiciary reform. Talking about defund the police so we can have better policing. We're talking about defund the divisions so we can have better trials and better adjudicating. Defund the prisons so we can have better rehab in prisons. And defund probation and parole so we can have better reintegration. We need law and order, and we need to be crime-free. Worship and work. Church and state, profit motive, in God we trust. So we're talking about this source. We got I-35 East, I-35 East, 32 states. Get that 32? 11 target cities, as picked by former President Donald Trump. 11 target cities, picked by Dr. Banks, Dr. Fauci, 11 target cities. St. Louis is the one. It is. The source of the COVID-19 is in St. Louis. Oh, it's time to get out. It is time we end it. Right here in the center of the country, it is time for the COVID, the self-feeding bee. The value in the valley, the value in the valley. We had a great recession, now we're in a pandemic recession. It's time to build back better. It's time to balance the balance. It's time America get out of COVID-19. Worship and work, church and state, profit motive, in God we trust. Job 25:6, don't play on my job. Next video is going to be reconciliation of your cognitive dissonance of your reconciliation, and it is about how we must deal with the mental health aspects of prolonged disease, prolonged virus. There are psychological diseases, psychological disorders. We don't need brain and mental infections that are throwing off our thought processes, especially for work. Especially for work. It's only worship and work. All we got is God and money. Profit motive in God we trust.
I understand.
Now, as a member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, as a member of the United States military, it is time we got out of COVID-19. I want you to join. This is the leadership. It is time we exit. We're going to build back better in 2022. And in the time, we'll be getting out of COVID-19. Worship and work. Church and state. And profit motive, in God we trust. As we can see, the church has been closed. That threatens our freedom of religion. The church has been closed. That threatens our freedom of religion.
I understand.
That's not the freedom, democracy, equality, and justice that America represents. The value of the country cannot be let go down. We cannot let the value of the country go down. So those values, that freedom of religion, the church got to come back open. Separation of church and state. The way the state should have told the church they couldn't be open.
I understand.
Job 25:6, don't play on my job.
I understand.
Worship and work, church and state. Profit motive. In God we trust. Let's get out of COVID-19. Job 25:6, don't play on my job. Be resilient for the mental health. Herd immunity, make sure you stay mentally resilient, mentally stable. Make sure you stay biologically resilient. Biologically resilient and avoid disease. Thank you.